This Memorial Day morning, controversy at the Vietnam Memorial in Washington. President Clinton's plans to visit the Vietnam Wall today has angered some veterans who still resent his opposition to the war and his efforts to avoid the draft. Jan Scruggs is president of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund and the man who issued the invitation to the president. Rick DeMarco, a former Marine and Vietnam vet, is part of a group protesting the president's visit. This morning, both men are at the wall in Washington, D.C. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Hello.
Mr. Scruggs, let me start with you. You were obviously all for the president visiting the wall today. Why do you think it's important that he be there?
I think it's important that we all recognize that President Clinton is the commander-in-chief of the U.S. military forces. It's important also to recognize that the American public and veterans overwhelmingly support his visit, and the idea that the commander-in-chief can never visit the Vietnam Veterans Memorial or Arlington National Cemetery and still be the leader of the free world is a ludicrous argument.
Sergeant DeMarco, obviously you disagree with Jan Scruggs. Why don't you think the president should appear today?
Well, I disagree because we feel that, in contrary to what Mr. Scruggs says, I think that a lot of the rank-and-file veterans, the combat veterans, are in disagreement with his appearance here. Also that this is a broad cross-section of sampling from the postcards we've received. Veterans from all wars and families of veterans from all wars have written us 300,000 to 500,000 postcards in the span of a month or two, and it's simply been a grassroots effort on our part. There's no command, there's no central authority, and it's all out of pocket, so it's a very sincere effort.
Jan Scruggs, how widespread are sentiments such as those felt by Sergeant DeMarco? You say he's not representative, but do you think that he may represent a number of vets who feel the same way he does?
There's no doubt about Sergeant DeMarco and the other leaders of this effort do represent opinion of quite a few veterans. We think it is a minority statistically, but they're making a point that the President did protest against the war, indeed, that anti-war activities, there's still plenty of anger about these activities. We understand the point everyone's making, but the time has come to get beyond this nonsense and to move forward, overcome Vietnam, and help rebuild a new society here.
Sergeant, tell me about the postcard campaign that you participated in. What was it designed to do, and what did the postcard say?
Well, the postcard campaign was designed just to display our moral outrage, and it reads, Dear Mr. Clinton, please, in view of your activities during the Vietnam War, let's not see you engage in any further hypocrisy by attending ceremonies either at the Vietnam Wall or the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. While your esteemed conscience led you to organize events that provided aid and comfort to the enemy, American soldiers were maimed and killed obeying the legal processes of representative government. I think the distinction should be made that Mr. Clinton not only led protests and participated in them, they were very, very anti-soldier, anti-American protests, both here in the United States and in England.
Mr. Scruggs?
Well, a lot of people did things during the Vietnam War that they felt were right. The president felt it was important to protest the war. I don't begrudge him that. I don't think he was against the soldiers. I think he was against the war, but we're going to have to hear from him.
Sergeant DeMarco, I know a silent protest is planned. What will you all do when the president appears?
Well, we will strike down any posters or banners that we have in deference to the wall, and then we will form up. We will stand to attention. We will do an about face, and we will stand there until the president is done speaking. When the president is done speaking, we will turn back about and face the wall again, and then we will read a short poem, and I guess that's basically it.
Jan Scruggs, do you think the president's lack of military service and activities during the war will always be a sore point for Vietnam veterans?
I think the bitterness and anger that is left from the Vietnam War will continue to plague our society. One of these days, Mr. DeMarco and Mr. Clinton will both be in their wheelchairs with their canes arguing about the Vietnam War, but that's fine. I think it's a healthy debate.
All right. Jan Scruggs and Sergeant Rick DeMarco. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
It's 7:15 on this holiday morning, and in a moment, our disappearing beaches. But first, this is Today on NBC.